Yes, people, before we get into the interview today, the next 20 interviews will be paying tribute to both Diogo and Andre, who sadly lost their lives due to a tire blowout on the 3rd of July. Uh, they are honestly both great footballers, even better men, and tragically taken from us too soon. And they'll always forever be our lads from Portugal, and Diogo Jota, you will always be our number 20. Enjoy the interview now. People, welcome back to Vinny's Voice. I'm fortunate to be joined, I'll say, one part of the Misfits Madness Crew, Josh. Josh, how you doing?
I'm good, Vinny, man. I'm good. Appreciate the invite. Very happy to be here, and yeah, I'm very well, thank you. All good, and yeah, thank you once again, man. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you for coming on. Now, before we delve into sort of your work at Misfits Madness, many people that probably don't know is that you're on a sort of Arsenal fan football channel, 13K subs. How did that sort of like journey start and you creating content about Arsenal in general? How did that come about?
Yeah, so obviously I started it quite at a young age as well, and I've been going for consistently for at least 3 years now on the Arsenal channel. I just wanted a platform really to get other fans on, to sort of preview matches, like all the Arsenal news. I saw these other like content creators, football content creators, do very similar. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a go, and so I started it, as I said, like 4 years ago, and it's currently at 13,000 subscribers. Man, it's going really well. I do it every single day now, and I've built a fantastic community. Met so many new people from it. Had some great quality guests who do very similar content to me come on the channel as well. And yeah, it's definitely going in the right direction. At the time when I started the channel, it was a very slow process. It took me to get my first 1,000 subscribers. It took me, I think, two years going into it, because it was the thing with football content is really populated. You got so many different creators out there, so many other people watching this creator, that creator. So I had to try and be a bit more original with my content ideas, and yeah, it's working. Especially this last year, it's completely blown up. From around last year, I was at 6K, and in 1 year, I've got around 13K. So yeah, that's where it all started. Really, I wanted to, you know, give myself sort of a platform to express all my opinions on Arsenal and get other people on as well. So that's where we're really at right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was just doing a bit of research on you and like the growth from like the earlier content to now. Like some of your like yeah, most recent getting like what 30, 40, 50K views,
Mm.
which is crazy. So kudos to you on that. Now you said you did invite sort of guests on. Who was like the most high profile guest that you've had, and how was that interaction between them?
One of my the highest profile guests, I'd probably say. Now, people who don't really know football, or obviously don't sort of watch football YouTubers in that sense. Pretty much what I do is whoever Arsenal play, whether it's Premier League,
Yeah.
Champions League, I get from a different team. I get a fan from every single team come on the channel, and I
Right.
call it opposition preview basically. So I've had people who range from around 40K subscribers. I had a Wolves fan. If anyone knows Talking Wolves,
Mm.
Man City fans. I had LB. If you got anyone in the football scene knows
Yeah.
LB, Big Steve as well is quite big. When we played Man City, I had him on as well. And in terms of obviously the Arsenal sort of scene, there's I've met so many Arsenal, content creators doing the same thing as me, and I'm looking to hopefully get some really big ones, in the near future. People like, if anyone knows Curtis Shaw TV, he's got like almost 100K subscribers. So I'm in talks with him to try and get on the channel for the first time. But yeah, pretty much even when I did the Champions League, for me the favorite is Champions League because we
Yeah,
play different teams in different countries. So I got we played Shakhtar Donetsk last season. I got a Ukrainian fan on the channel, and that was really good. When we played Dinamo Zagreb, I got one of the biggest Croatian football content creators on with over 100k followers come on the channel like that. They're my favorite ones because it's different country. Sometimes the language barrier can be a bit of an issue, but
yeah,
we work around it, and we find a way. But yeah, they're definitely probably my favorite ones is doing the Champions League previews. And I had a few Real Madrid fans from Spain come on the channel. We played Real Madrid last season and got that amazing win. PSG fan as well, one of the biggest PSG fan channels. So yeah, pretty much that's where I get all the guests from, is from doing these previews, whoever Arsenal play. And yeah, that's that really.
yeah. I think that's a really cool concept, like quite original as well. Getting those like people from other countries, like especially with the Champions League, like Ukrainian, Croatian. Like I find that personally like really cool and quite innovative because I haven't seen anyone in like I don't really watch much of football like content. I mean, I watch like Gold, which is Liverpool fans, or Redmen TV and Anfield Agenda, etc. But like no one's really done that, and I think that's really cool. And hopefully, I'll see more of that this season when you guys are playing Champions League football. So now we're gonna move on to your work with Misfits Madness. Obviously, you have a whole team around you. I think the other main interviewer's name's Jack. How did you actually first get involved with the Misfits Madness team?
So obviously, yeah, as you rightly said, Jack, if he's going to stumble across this, massive respect to him. He's a guy who sort of proposed the idea forward to myself, and we sort of both, me and him are both like owners of it. We both sort of use our ideas to create it. But we were just because it's funny story. Obviously, Jack, he's a massive Liverpool fan as well. He does. He's got a football content channel, and he does Liverpool content as well. And we just randomly doing streams together, obviously football based.
Yeah,
And then it sort of came about where I think there was a Misfits event on. I can't remember what number the event on the Misfits event was, but we were just like. He ran me, asked me saying, "Oh, are you gonna watch the Misfits event?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Misfits, massive fan of Misfits." And then from there, we just started talking, and we was like, you know what? Why don't you create a channel, base it all on Misfits? Do watch-alongs when the Misfits events on. Do obviously the interviews is going to be the big thing. I know we'll talk about in a minute, but that's where it really came about. Was just that day where he was like, you know what, I've got a good idea. And I was like, yeah, let's go for it, man, and see what happens. Because I also think doing the interviews as well helps, not just with the boxing side of Misfits as well, but even for myself as a person when I go and do my football content as well.
yeah, for sure.
So that was a big thing there. But yeah, I mean, that's where it all came about, me and Jack. And then we started hiring a thumbnail designer. We got a boxer now. If anyone knows Jay's, he's currently, I think, in the amateur scene. He's working his way up to Misfits, but he's part of the channel now.
Yeah,
He comes on when he can, and I think having him on is really good because he's been there and done it. Me and Jack, we're just fans of the sport. We're just
right.
fans of boxing. It's not just, we've never been there and really boxed. I've been more of a footballer in terms of like actually pursuing like boxing. So, but whereas Jay's, he's doing it right now, and he's really
Yeah,
flipping. He's one to watch, people. I'll tell you that, because don't be surprised if he makes his way to Misfits very soon. So we thought, because he's been here and done it, he's got that experience. Perfect guy to have on the channel. And then we've got a thumbnail designer. We've got a TikTok who does the videos as well. So yeah, we're building a whole team, and it's still early days, of course, and it's only been going for, I think, not even a year yet.
yeah,
But now we're really trying to get it consistent, and yeah, we're gonna try and get there as one of the sort of the top Misfits channels in terms of interviewing, watch-alongs, and going to the events as well.
yeah, for sure. And I think it's good, like getting all these channels to sort of all the smaller interview channels, because I would say there's Fred,
Yeah,
and
Fred's.
there's no one really, you know what I mean? There's no one really below like competing with
Mm,
Fred in terms of the Misfits sort of scene. So it's good, like you guys, myself, we're not there yet, obviously, but we've got still a long road to go. But it's good that there's more sort of smaller smaller creators now posting sort of interviews more consistently.
mm.
Now, you've obviously interviewed various names. I can list some names, Warren Spencer, Argentinian King, Carla Jade, etc. List could go on. But for you personally,
Mm.
who was like the sort of most interesting person to interview, in your opinion?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a few. My favorite one we did was Ferrari. If you know Ferrari, of
Oh yeah, I
course.
did. I did watch that Amadeus interview. That was really cool.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Him as a character, he just honestly one of the most nice. Like I know people look outside, and if you've never met
Mm,
the guy, if you never spoke to the guy, you think, oh, this guy's a nutter. But
yeah.
when you actually interview the guy, and the interview was had, he just brought everything to the interview.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
so energetic. He was so just funny with it. Top guy, and I love that interview. And once again, I really would. He's got to be my favorite just because of the energy that he brought to the interview, and some of the stuff he said was absolutely top class, of course. So yeah, Ferrari for me is definitely one of my favorites because and I'm not going to name names, but we've had interviews in the past where they've been for us. It seemed like it's not really like they're not really that interested in the interview. It's short answers.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, quickly do it and sort of get out.
Right.
Ferrari was there. I think we got 15 minutes out of Ferrari, and he was there. And what I loved about it, he was out and about. He was like, he was in this random place. And he was like, "Yeah, I'll be down to do it." I think his phone was on like 10% charge as well. He's
Wow.
saying to us, but he still made the time for us, man.
Yeah.
And he made the interview for me one of my best and one of our favorite interviews because yeah, Ferrari as a character is just top class. So yeah, he's definitely one that is probably one of my favorites. But I think all the ones we've done really, they have their differences, of course, in their certain way. But yeah, we did one with Amir Anderson the other day. Really
Yeah.
nice guy as well. Again, really good boxer. I think obviously his upcoming fight in this Misfits card this August. So, but yeah, he's really good boxer as well. But I'll probably say yeah, Ferrari for me tops it.
Yeah, I really like that Ferrari interview, and like he wasn't like interviewed on like this Zoom sort of style. I like these sort of like Zoom online interview styles, and I think it was like really cool to have like a longer form interview because obviously with Fred it was like a couple minutes where you guys had one for a good time, and I did watch the interview, and it was probably my favorite interview from you guys actually because I think the questions asked were good, but also Ferrari as well because sort of like
Mm.
both have to work together, and I think it created a really cool interview. So what you guys do that I honestly admire is, and I find quite clever, is that you actually do live interviews. So where you obviously
Yeah.
you and Jack or Jack and whoever's interviewing said person ask a couple
Mm.
questions, but then you also take questions from the chat, and that sort of like builds that sort of I'll say easy. It builds that community easier because you're getting your fans or people involved right away with the interview. Whose idea was that, and how's I'll say surprised, not surprised, but yeah, basically how surprised have you been for it to sort of work out like quite successfully?
Yeah. Yeah, the live interview. I think it was again. It was us both coming together. Me and Jack sort of realizing that. Hold on a minute. Because I do a lot of live streams myself, and I do live streams every single day on my football content,
Yeah,
with my football channel, and I'm like, I think the best way we can do it both sort of thing. Have some pre-recorded videos there, but also add this live aspect in because what the live streams do is they get the community involved, they get the chat involved as well. A lot of people tune into the lives and because they're able to ask their questions live, you know, it I prefer that a lot more. Because if you do a pre-recorded video, you may have to get people to you do like community posts saying, "Oh, you got any questions?" But if you actually do it live, they can ask as many questions they want to
yeah,
whoever fighter we have on. So the live interviews was because of that, to involve the community a lot more, to involve sort of like the fans a lot more, and we get many questions, and it only gets the interview a bit longer as well, because we've had a few pre-recorded videos and it's been about 5 minutes long, and we've had to try our best to sort of get it out. With the live streams, we can ask our questions, but then we've got a whole community to, sort of, they can ask many as they want, and so I prefer that method. But you are right. I don't see a lot of other channels
I think no
do
one,
these live
to
interviews.
be frank, like no one really does live interviews actually.
Yeah.
Even like I'm talking about just in general, people do interviews, because I obviously study Fred, Arrow, Hawani, all them. I don't think they even do live interviews, and I think that's a very unique idea.
Yeah, nah, for sure. So and it's definitely boosted the channel a lot more from that as well, and we're going to continue to do live interviews 100%. I think it is going to depend on the box or the fight that we do get, because some, they may have limited time, so we do a quick pre-recorded. But with the lives, we can be like, all right, whoever we get on, anyone in the chat, get your questions in, and it involves the community and makes the interview for me a lot more better as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope you guys keep doing it, because the live aspect is really, like, honestly, I'll say a stroke of genius. Not trying to glaze it, but generally,
appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
It's like quite clever when I first like saw it. Now, obviously, both of us do interviews. We've had, I think both of us have sort of stories like interviews that almost occurred, but let's just say last minute, whatever reason, they unfortunately did not happen. If you're willing to disclose, who was that person for you, or like the most high profile name that you were about to get, and then for some reason at like the last second or last day or whatever, they were like, oh, it was off.
There's a whole list, to be honest, of nearly interviews. Some of them I don't see us interviewing again, like in terms of that's not going to happen anymore. A few of them, though, I think in the future, definitely. Some of them had like circumstances, like I think we said backstage, the one that we need to get on, and he's my favorite fight on Misfits, full stop. Just his journey from the bottom to the top now is Salt Pappy. Salt Pappy, he's a guy that we're very close to try and get on the channel. And this could happen in the future still, this could happen in the future. Right. He's got a fight coming up right now, as we know, so he's preparing for that. But definitely Salt Pappy is the one that I think is going to be definitely not just because I'm not saying that because he's my favorite fighter, but I just think overall as a person, everyone loves Salt Pappy. So and his journey from the top has been incredible. So but we've had there's honestly been a whole list of fighters. I think Darren Till's been quite close. So obviously come on the channel. Darren, he's been liking our messages, but there's been no like response yet. And I hope Jack doesn't mind me sharing this, but we asked him a few weeks ago, are you down for an interview, right? And he straight up said no. He just said no and then full stop. So, but then he keeps liking our messages. So it's like, that's the big one. Because
liking your message, not Instagram posts, or liking like your messages through Instagram DM?
Through Instagram DMs, just, when they put the heart on there? So it shows that they like the message. He likes all the messages, but there's still no reply there. And then he actually replied to us, I think, a few weeks ago. Just he straight up said no. So he's been probably one of the closest, and obviously big name. Had a few main events already. So he will definitely be, and as a character as well, he's top. So I think he would be really, really good if we can get him in the future. But there's been a whole list, man. Honestly, a whole list of fighters where we sit there and we're in talks with them, but then it just never really comes about in the end. So, but definitely more in the future. I'm sure as we grow a bit more as well, we can get the ones we really want.
Yeah, same here with me. I have certain names. One name that I did share with you off camera that still bummed about a bit, but like, I think it's just part and parcel. I've had almost of like, yes, I'm down, and then like no response after that. And then sort of people said, oh, your channel's too small, we're not going to come on.
Or some of them some of them actually like ask for payment as well. I don't know if you've ever had that, but a
Oh,
few of them actually ask for
I've
like,
had, but I'll
we
tell
want
you the story
money.
off camera. Yeah. Now, all right. So obviously, you guys, your channel name is Misfits Madness, but would you delve into other names within the crossover boxing space, even like potentially even the CFLs, like Creative Fight League, like Anthony Taylor's sort of promotion? Would you ever like want to
Mm.
expand who you interview, or mainly just keep it Misfits?
I think what we said was, and yeah, we've definitely had discussions on this before, me and Jack, about maybe expanding the channel because I know there's many other promotions there. Um, but I think what we've always said is just keep it Misfits. To be honest, keep it Misfits based. We have done watch-alongs for like not for like the big name fights, like we did Jake Paul
Tyson,
the other night. Yeah, Tyson. Like we done the big fights like that
right?
for watch-alongs. But in terms of actually interviewing, we're gonna keep it Misfits based. I think there's been conversations of that, but I just think this is the niche that we're going with, just Misfits, and there's so many fighters, and Misfits is growing day by day, as we know. They're adding the MMA side of things to it now, and I think in the
Yeah,
2-3 years it's going to be absolutely massive than it is now, of course. So yeah, I just think we're going to keep it Misfits Madness. Yeah.
yeah. No, I think that's pretty good as well. Keeping it sort of quite simple, but like yeah. But for
Mm.
me, like I'm mainly doing the crossover boxing space, but like honestly, I'll just interview anyone. Just I love it. You know what I mean? But
Of
like
course.
yeah, because you could get like different names from different communities. Well, that's how I look at it. But again, keeping it Misfit, I mean, it's literally called Misfit Madness. So, and you do great interviews with Misfits fighters, and that will definitely build your rapport, and hopefully you'll maybe land that Darren Till interview. Who he might say, he might edit the message and say yes instead of no.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
Yeah. So now, since you pretty much interview Misfits fighters, I would like to ask you, who's your, I would say, besides Soul Pappy, because you did mention that, any other Misfits fighters or potentially even Misfits, I would say, staff like a Ben Debane Davis or
Mm.
Riley Roundhouse Radio Riley Osborne, anyone like that you'd like to have on the channel in the near future?
So we had BL. I don't know
Yeah,
if you saw that one.
yeah, I did see the BL one.
Really, really, really nice guy. Like, I think it's good to vary it from the media sort of guys who do it, and also the boxers and the fighters. So definitely Ben would be phenomenal to get on. Wade as well, maybe,
Yeah,
because obviously I know he's a fighter now, but he was doing his before that, sort of like his media stuff as well.
yeah.
Um, Mams Taylor would just
Oh
be
yeah,
incredible,
Mans. Oh, we
absolutely
all would love
incredible.
Mans Taylor on.
He fun fact, he keeps actually liking our posts
Yeah, I see
recently.
that. Yeah, like liked by I
So
saw one of the recent post liked by Man. That's why I'm saying I need to get on the Instagram, bro. Because I see all his
yeah,
Misfits fighters like him. Like,
Mams,
gotta
man,
get on it.
this guy is incredible. So yeah, he would
Yeah,
be definitely the guy from that sort of thing. But in terms of fighters, yeah, I mean, obviously, I mentioned Salt Papi already. He's top fighter. Any more? I think. I mean, there's obviously like the big guys that are quite hard to obviously get on. KSI would be mad, but
oh
that's never
yeah.
going to happen in a million years.
Who knows? Who knows? One,
You
miracles can
never know.
happen.
You
Yeah, you
know,
never know, man.
yeah, you never know. I wouldn't mind to interview Slim as well.
Oh yeah, Slim.
Slim, yeah, big fan of him. To be fair, Gib as well would be incredible. But again, these are like just top, like really, really tough to
Yeah,
obviously get on. I think the only way we could maybe get those is if we actually go to like a Misfits event,
yeah,
like, because what I think Fred does a lot, doesn't he? He
yeah.
goes to
Fred,
events actually.
and I
Yeah,
think
he
what's
has
his
the
name?
mind.
The guy in the orange that does interviews as well. His name Tabio. Yes. If you haven't
Yeah,
heard of him, Tabio
yeah.
does
So
go to some Misfits events as well.
yeah, they actually go to the events, and that's the probably the best way to, to get these big names is actually go there with the mic, you know,
Yeah,
interview, whether
yeah,
it's only 3 minutes or 4 minutes. But
exactly. Just get the. But like
that's
it's a bit difficult for me to go to the events. Well,
yeah, it's
because I'm in Australia. But like,
ah
yeah, I'm Australia. So, but like, I'll mention this. Sometime next year. That's why I could possibly like. It depends because obviously I have college, I have other stuff. If it fits between the holidays, and if there's a good Misfit show,
yeah,
take that sort of could say risk, I guess, to fly over and get get involved because I think yeah, especially at the big names, it's much easier to go network because I've been to like college now networking events and I realize how important networking is because you network with one person and get this person
yeah.
on and that person and also speaking of networking, if you want Ben on, I could shoot him a DM. So I'll try to get that sorted for you guys.
Thank you, man.
Uh,
Appreciate that,
yeah,
man.
because Ben's responsive to me, so I'll
Yeah,
try to definitely shoot Ben a DM on X and hopefully yeah, because Ben's a top guy. Yeah, so
yeah.
we make for a good interview. Now, we're gonna wrap up the interview right here. But my final question is to you is I ask this at the end of all my interviews is what is the best quote or piece of advice you've ever heard or received?
Great question, man. Great question. Um, there's a few I'd say. There is difference. I just think best piece of advice. Honestly, it may sound basic, it may sound boring, but it's just don't give up, Like, and if you put your mind to something, whatever it may be, it don't matter if people think it's silly and all that. Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah,
Like just believe in yourself. Like I know it sounds a bit basic, but this is true because I'll give you the example for myself doing this now, Misfits, and this is continuing and all that. But my football channel, I started my football content channel when I was in school. Yeah. And the hate you'd get because people don't do this in school. Like, you don't see, like, especially where in the UK. Yeah. The UK is mad in terms of how judgmental people can be. Especially as like myself, I was like 13, 14, started my channel, right? In school, and people were making fun of you and saying, oh, you're so cringe, and oh, what's this guy doing? Right? Fast forward a few years later, I'm doing this every single day now. So
yeah,
it like you're gonna have people gonna hate on you, right? But at the end of the day, you can't let it get to you because that's one of the things that I made a mistake years ago. I let it got to me and then I stopped uploading. I was like, yeah, probably they're right, but no, you can't think like this. Yeah, you got to keep consistent with it. You know, who cares what people say, man? This is your journey. Like you're gonna have setbacks. The amount of setbacks I've had doing my football content creation, like there's a video that's not done well, I just feel like whatever I'm doing is not working. I've had setbacks like that, but then you keep going with it, like, so if you give up, it's like, why? Because at the end of the day, you got nothing to lose anyway. So you know that's the main piece of advice that's I've heard and that I've sort of gonna carry for whatever I do next. Really, is just don't give up, stay consistent, and don't really care what other people think about you.
really, really, really inspiring words from one half of the Misfits Madness team, Josh. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you so much, man. Really enjoyed the interview. Keep up with the great work as well that you're doing, and really, really appreciate you having me on as well, bro.